Hello Year 4 and welcome to Wednesday's home learning for English. You're now halfway through your last week before Christmas, so give yourselves a round of applause, pat on the back. You are almost there. You've all worked so hard and you should be proud of all the great learning that you have been doing. So in today's lesson, we are going to be moving on from our non-chronological reports and we're going to be doing something slightly more Christmassy. So, however, for the first 5 minutes, I'm hoping you've got your non-chronological reports with you because I just want you to go back and have a look at your works. Whenever we've finished a big piece of writing, we always need to go back and do our editing. So just make sure that we have got everything right with our presentation. So we've underlined our titles and subheadings and make sure that it looks nice and neat. We need to make sure that we have got the correct punctuation, so commas, full stops, capital letters as well. We need to make sure that we have used the correct sort of adjectives when we have been describing. If maybe we haven't used as many adjectives as we could have done, then edit them in and write them above. Sentence starters, have a look at the way that you have started your sentences. If you find you have repeated the same sentence starters, see if you can think of any other ways that you could potentially start those sentences. So maybe have a look at some of the adverbial openers we were looking at. Adverbs, looking at the adverbial openers and just make sure that those are appropriate for the sentence that you have written following. And also, does it make sense? Are you able to read your writing and think, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and if someone else was to read this, it would make perfect sense to them, and it describes my creature perfectly, and I have been so specific, I could not be possibly talking about any other creature. So just work through all those points and just make sure that they apply to your writing. And then, so pause this video and then we will move on to the next part of our lesson for today. So today we are going to be watching a Christmas advert first, and we're going to be doing a little bit of comprehension. If we were in class, we would be able to have a discussion with one another and express what we think and feel about the advert. But as we can't do that, I've got some questions on the screen here. So when you come to these parts in the advert, maybe you want to pause the video and think about these questions that relate to what is happening at this point. What I will do actually is after I pause this, I will put in the place where you might want to pause it just to think about these questions. So these are two separate parts in the video. Have a think about these questions. So for example, you've got, how is the neighbour feeling? Why do you think he feels like this? Why does the video choose to show this? And then here you've got some questions about the overall message of the advert. Okay, so I'll pause it here. If you can watch the video, you can find it either on our home learning or you can type this into YouTube and the advert will be on there as well. It's a lovely advert, it's really kind, and I think it just shares a really nice message, and the music is lovely as well. And I haven't been able to stop listening to it since I saw it. So give it a watch, have a little think about these questions because we are going to use those in our writing later on in this lesson. If you haven't seen the advert, I hope you really enjoyed it. I really like how it's got all the different snippets of animation, so it's not just one cartoon the whole way through. They use a mixture of stop motion animation, digital animation, all sorts of different pieces of art, and I just think it's really impressive for a Christmas advert. So our next task, I hope you had a little think about those questions, and if you had someone with you, you were able to have a bit of a discussion about them. The next task that we are going to do for our writing is you are going to choose one of these characters to be, so to write as. And I've chosen these two parts of the story because I think, mostly because the characters are human, but I think also it's quite good because you're able to see two sides of the story and why they might have wanted someone to be kind to them, and also why they might have thought that they needed to stretch out and, give that gift of kindness. So these are the characters we're going to focus on. So I want you to write a recount. So remember we said a recount was retelling a story. So I want you to pretend that you are one of these characters and you are telling the story of when you gave something kind or you received a kind act or a kind thing. So you have got 4 choices. So you can either write as the little girl whose glasses were broken. You can write as the kind woman who helped her stick her glasses back together. Or you can write as the man with the cracker who decided to pass it to his neighbour through the window. Or you can write as the man who was sat on his own. So he was quite clearly quite lonely. And that guy cheered him up by passing the cracker through the window. So when you write your recount, you're going to need to think about some key points. So you're going to need to think about who you're writing as, who the other character was in the story. So obviously, if you're the little girl on the bus whose glasses are broken, you're not going to write about the man who received the cracker because it's just not going to make any sense. So you need to make sure that you're writing about the character that is relevant for you. So who was the other character? How are you feeling? So if you were the person giving the kind act or doing the kind thing, you might have felt sorry for that person and you might have felt some sympathy and wanted to do something kind. If you were on the other end, so on the receiving end, you might have felt very sad up until the point where that person, made you happy by doing this thing that they didn't need to do because they were a stranger. For example, the woman on the bus. So how did your feeling change? So if you're that person, what about doing that act or receiving that act change your mood for the day? And how did your day go on after that? How did you go on celebrating Christmas or your wintry day? So how and why were they kind to you? So you might want to think about, why was that person kind to me? Why do I think they put the cracker out the window? Or why did she fix my glasses when she was just sat next to me? So think about those. Equally, if you are giving the kind act, what might you have thought about that person? How might the little girl have broken her glasses? Why was he alone? I don't know if you noticed, but his house is not Christmassy at all. Why might that be? So his neighbour, the man with the cracker, might know why he's lonely. So maybe you could add that into your story. And then, of course, you need to think about, your recount. What you need to think about is, what did you give or receive? So depending on which person you're writing from. So you're going to be writing a small recount, so it doesn't need to be really, really lengthy. I think you could probably get away with writing, let's have a look. I think you could probably get away with writing 1 page or 3/4 of a page, broken up into little paragraphs. I think that would be good, as long as it's enough to explain what happened and how you felt about it. Try and think about your expanded noun phrases when you're describing the other character or the kind thing that they did for you or the kind thing that they gave you. Okay? Is there any speech? Did they speak to you? You could use your punctuation and your speech marks knowledge to write your recount. And remember to just use all of those skills that we would usually use. So capital letters, and just reread your writing. Say it out loud verbally to make sure that it makes sense. So I want you to just write a small recount as if you were one of those characters. Now, if you finish and you would like to have a go at something else, then I have got this design your own Christmas advert template, which I will put on the home learning. If perhaps you don't celebrate Christmas, then maybe you could think about an advert that might just be released either by a supermarket this year, and it might be focused on the theme of kindness, like the John Lewis advert. And it might just be about people being kind to each other, especially after this has been a tough year for so many people. Okay, so this is your template here. You've got the beginning of your advert, the build up to the problem, and the problem your character faces, solution to the problem, and the happy ending. So if you were the little girl, she might have been walking to school, she might have slipped on a puddle, fallen over, broken her glasses, then she might be scared about going home and saying that her glasses are broken because they might have been brand new. So the solution might have been the lady on the bus fixing them. And then happy ending, she goes home and she feels warm because someone has been kind to her today. So that's the sort of thing, except you can come up with whatever you like. Any characters, snowmen, reindeer, people, dancing elves, anything you would like your advert to involve, that's absolutely fine. So this is an extension if you find that you would like to have a go at your own. I think it would be quite a fun activity to do. So first activity, writing a recount as if you are one of the characters, telling someone about the kind thing that happened to you today. And extension activity would be designing your own Christmas advert. Okay, so I hope you all get on okay with that. I think it's a really nice and fun activity, especially as you get to watch the advert at the beginning. It's really nice and Christmassy and very heartwarming as well. Okay, so good luck. I will see you tomorrow where we will be doing some more wintry, Christmassy activities, and it should be really, really fun. But again, well done for making it halfway through your last week, and you've only got a few more days to go, and then it's your Christmas break. So good luck, take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.